Hi, a very good evening and a warm welcome to all the participants who have joined us today for the Global Supply Chain Management webinar from IIM Udaipur. I am Jeyashree, a current student of Global Supply Chain Management at IIM Udaipur 24-25 batch. With great honor, I am happy to inform you that I would be the host for the day, and we have our panelists today whom I would like to introduce. We have Professor Rajesh Agrawal, who is the chairperson of the one-year MBA program, and we have Professor Chandrasekhar, who is the head for the Center for Supply Chain Management, and also we have Sunanda ma'am from the administration team. Before we proceed into the webinar, I would like to post a small request. In case of any Q&A, question and answer, we will be having a Q&A session at the end of this webinar, but in case of anything that you want to post, please post it on the Q&A section and not on the chat box. I repeat, in case of any questions, please post it on the Q&A section and not on the chat box, so that we will have a better seamless experience. I now welcome Professor Rajesh Agrawal to start with the webinar.
Thank you very much, Jeyashree, and a very warm welcome to all the attendees of this webinar today. And over the next 20-30 minutes, we will talk about the MBA program in Global Supply Chain Management, and shall be happy to answer any question that you may have about any aspect of the program. Next slide, please, Jeyashree.
Okay.
So the very first question that would come in the mind of anybody who is wondering whether I should join this program or not, I would like to say that the MBA program in Global Supply Chain Management is a unique MBA program. What makes it unique? Because it offers a unique blend of general management as well as the contemporary field of supply chain management. And that's what makes it a unique MBA program. Further, IIM Udaipur is a leading academic institution. I'll talk more about it in a moment. And this program is a heavily industry-oriented program, both in terms of its design as well in terms of its delivery. And that's the reason it makes a very compelling proposition for any prospective student to consider this program to be the one that you could potentially pursue. Next slide, please. So very briefly, it's a 12-month program for professionals who have experience. And happy to mention that the very first batch started as early as 2013. And currently the 12th batch is in progress, in which Jeyashree is a student. And the supply chain program has over approximately 270 alumni worldwide. And that's the nature of the program. The earlier batches were small in number, but currently we admit approximately 65 students in each batch. Next slide, please. So it's very important for anyone to ask this question about what is the credential of the institution that I am potentially considering to join as a student. And one of the most important metric is what the world talks about us. So you are all aware about the most prestigious financial daily called Financial Times, and they have a ranking called Global Masters in Management ranking. And I'm happy to say that IIM Udaipur is ranked among the top 100 in the world for the last 6 consecutive years. Now, interestingly, we are the only IIM to be ranked for the 6 consecutive years in this ranking, while others have come and gone, but we are there consecutively for 6 years. Likewise, for the QS World University ranking, which is also a very prestigious ranking, we're also there for the 6 consecutive years. And talking about not the ranking this time, but accreditation, we are accredited by AACSB. Now, AACSB stands for Association to Advance Collegiate School of Business, and only 5% of the business schools in the world have this accreditation, and that talks about the value of this accreditation. Now, not only we are accredited, but we are also the youngest business school in the world to have been accredited. We got accredited in a span of only 8 years of our existence, and no other business school got this accreditation that early. Now, why I'm talking about all this accreditation and the credential? Because it tells us that though we are relatively a younger institution compared to some of the senior IIMs, we pursue excellence in whatever we do, including in the design and delivery of this program on global supply chain management. Next slide, please. So talking about the program structure, this is a full-time MBA program, not to be confused with an executive program or a part-time program or an online program. I repeat, it's a full-time MBA program on campus for a period of 1 year. That's the only difference, not 2 years, but 1 year. And those who are interested in joining in this program have to have at least 36 months of full-time work experience after your graduation. And one more thing is required to be able to apply is that you have to have a valid GMAT, GRE, or a CAT score, right? And of course, 3 years of university education. One of the questions that people often ask is, what is the cutoff that one has to have for GMAT, GRE, or CAT? And my answer is this: if I were in your place, if I have a valid score, I would go ahead and apply rather than to overly worry about what the cutoff is, because the admissions committee looks at your profile overall and your score is only one of the inputs. So rather than worrying about what the cutoff is, if you have a valid score, go ahead and apply would be my recommendation. Next slide, please. I'm happy to mention that, we have thoroughly revised the curriculum of this course for the next academic year, the year in which you are prospecting an admission. The reason to constantly and consistently keep reviewing and make changes so that our curriculum remains relevant to the needs of the industry, so that whatever is being taught is being applied in the real life, right? We'd like to bring real life to the classroom as much as we can, and revising and reviewing the curriculum is a step in that direction. So what you see on your screen is the revised curriculum, which is applicable for the next academic year. On the very left hand of the screen, you will find business fundamentals, right? Business management fundamentals. Because an MBA program, not a wonder that all of you have to go through the fundamentals of business management, which is right from statistics, finance, accounting, cost management, communication, marketing, strategy, operations, research, HR, the whole host of, management courses. Then you can see that in the second box, you have to do a whole host of supply chain specific courses, which are, we call the supply chain management core courses, which are, and you will also see a blend of digital coming in, because nothing in this world is going to be there which doesn't have a flavor of digital or the relevance of digital. So talking about the core supply chain courses, I would say we have courses like global trade and supply chain management, logistics, operations, service operations, strategic sourcing, and sustainable supply chains and things like that, right? Having done the core courses, there are also elective courses that one could choose from depending on your interest. So for example, negotiations in sourcing, right? Six Sigma, production planning, supply chain consulting, regulatory framework, revenue and pricing management, and the whole supply chain finance is a very, very contemporary course. So you get to do the core courses in supply chain, you get to do the elective courses in supply chain, and that's not all. Because you may still ask the question, what makes me future ready? What makes me industry ready? And to do that, we provide a formal opportunity in this program where you shall be working on a live industry project. Industry will share with us a project which will have a problem, and that you will have to solve over a period of 3 to 4 months while you are on campus. And that's what we call simulation live industry project, which means it amounts to dirtying your hands, getting the first-hand exposure of applying both the management principles as well as supply chain principles. And then last but not the least, but very important, is that what we call supply chain management workshop. You would agree that this world is extremely dynamic. We talk about the advances in the field of digital or supply chain. There are very many. So we will bring in through an instrumentality of workshop whatever is the most relevant at that time and emerging at that time through industry-led workshops where industry leaders will come and talk to you about what's happening in the industry at any point in time and the most modern and the emerging concepts that are there, right? So this is broadly the design of this course, which has benefited from a huge consultation from the industry experts. As I said, they're not only involved in designing the curriculum, but they're also involved in delivering. 50% of the course is going to be taught by industry experts. And that's what makes the program very unique. Next slide, please. The Institute takes this whole issue of supply chain management extremely seriously, and then we believe this is the future. So we have set up a Center for Global Supply Chain Management, which is headed by an industry veteran. Mr. Chandrasekhar is the head of the center with decades of industry experience, and I will invite him to talk to you about the center and how it impacts the design and the delivery of the one-year MBA program in supply chain management. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh. Good evening, all, and a very happy New Year. I earnestly hope that all your aspirations are realized in 2025. Yeah, can we go to the next slide, Jeyashree? Okay. Now, the Center for Supply Chain Management was established towards the end of 2019. And the mandate given to the center was to enhance industry participation in various programs of the institute, supply chain being one of them. The supply chain program itself is older, much older. We were doing it jointly with the University of Purdue. And 2021 was the first year when we thought of putting together a program which is going to be fully run from Udaipur. Now, that was originally going to be an option in addition to the Purdue option, but then all of us know that COVID hit and the Purdue offering could not be given to the students at all. So what we chanced as an option became the full-time program for the institute. That is from the academic year 2021. So 19, the center was formed. And we said that, okay, if we are going to enhance industry collaboration, what we need immediately is to set up an advisory board. Right? We are all basically academicians. If we want to move in the right direction in terms of what industry expects from this program, then we need to be guided by experts from this field. So we put together an advisory board. The names of the members of the board is currently in front of you. They're all very, very eminent people from the supply chain space. And they have been with us for the last 5 years. We are looking at changes from the next year. Some members may leave, a few, just to get a new flavor of contemporary happenings in this space. So periodically, we do refresh the advisory board members, but this board has been with us for the last 5 years, and their participation and support has been immense in the way this program itself has evolved in the last 5 years. In terms of the center, the initial couple of years, the center was heavily invested in the supply chain one-year MBA program. Then after the first 2-3 years, that is from the 2021 batch for about 2-3 years, in that time, the various aspects of the program got stabilized, starting from admissions up to placement. We also were able to increase our intake to the level we wanted it to be. Like Professor Rajesh was mentioning, prior to 2019, it was around 15 students every year. We had an aspiration to make it 65, at least one classroom strength. So that we've been able to do after the first 3 years of the program. Placements are pretty smooth in that there's a process, admissions are being taken care of by themselves. So the center could afford to take some time away from what it was spending on the program to other activities. So the center is now working with industry on long-term projects in the supply chain space. We hope to build credibility in order to for our faculty members to provide consulting services to industry in the foreseeable future. We have set up a business solutions lab. Can you go to the next slide, Jeyashree? I may be going on. Yeah. Right. So those are we have set up a lab with the help of industry, where through the lab, we want to give our students the opportunity of dirtying in their hands. So many of the programs which Professor Rajesh was talking about, like IoT and all technology-based programs, there will be some element of that program where practice can be through the facilities in the lab. So these all we have been able to do with the support of industry, right? And the other, like this slide says, industry has to buy into this program. Ultimately, they are going to be taking our products, which are the students. And unless we ensure that our program continues to be contemporary at all times, we would be failing industry. So we are looking very, very closely, and we are looking at how can we even more increase the participation of industry, which is why when we carried out this curriculum review, we thought about having workshops, which will again be driven by industry, so that all the students will not get only theoretical inputs, but also get industrial exposure. Next, Jeyashree. These are some of the companies, of course, as students who are applying for the program or thinking for applying for the program, you will be interested in knowing what sort of companies come and recruit from this program. So you'll have the names right in front of you. It covers a variety of industries, a variety of roles. This is greatly enhanced over the last couple of years. They used to be typically consulting roles, operations roles, which were on offer for the first 3 or 4 years. But now we have a variety of technology roles which are there for supply chain students, product management roles, roles in analytics, roles in supply chain application development. So there are huge spectrum of companies and roles which are on offer to our students. Yeah, next. So like I said, these are now the typical roles. These have gone up over the last couple of years, and they are constantly increasing every year. So strategic management, operations management, product management, supply chain, typical operations management, consulting, of course, is a big draw for our students, and the industry also likes the students which come out of these programs. Next, Jeyashree. Right. So before I come back to the other aspects of the program, you will, of course, be given inputs in supply chain and other faculties of management over the 1 year period. But we don't want your learning to be restricted to these subjects which are taught. Ultimately, this is possibly the last opportunity you will have to go back to college and study. So we want this to be a transformational journey for you. You should come out as individuals who are much different from what you were when you went into the program. So to give her experience, we thought let a student share what her experience has been over the 7 or 8 months she has been with this program. Jeyashree, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir. And thank you once again for giving me the opportunity to share my experience about how the program has been to me. So, as explained by professors, it is indeed a transformational experience because last year I remember being one of the participants attending one of this kind of a seminar. And today, in the last 7 to 8 months, I would say the way the college has tamed me is exponential, and it is more than transformational, I would say. So to start with, from the day one, you will get the chance. You can see how the college is molding you step by step, and you have multiple courses which Professor Rajesh Agrawal had shared with you. So all these courses need not be theoretical in nature. There are a lot of practical learnings where you will have a lot of experiential learning, where you will be applying whatever the concepts that you have learned into practice in the form of projects or in the form of assignments or in the form of stimulations, small simulations, where you know that whatever you have learned, you are applying it at the end of the day. And there will be a lot of opportunities for you to work on live projects. And the most important one, as Professor was mentioning, is the industry live project that we will be starting in the second term, where we will be working with a real company following a real problem. So the whole idea about solving a real problem lively for a real company, where you will be working with the mentors from the industry and the company, the learning is so enormous that you will start getting the confidence of facing the real world after you finish this 1 year program. And also, throughout this journey, you're not alone. So all the faculties, professors, the administration team, the placement committee will be there with you, traveling along with the journey, so that in case if you're having any queries or doubts or challenges, they will be always there to help you. And the most awaited part about how am I going to prepare for my placements or job preparation? Yes, from a very early beginning, you will be encouraged to prepare for your resume and interview. And there will be a lot of experienced people from the industry coming in to teach you on how to prepare your resume, how to prepare for interview, to improve your communication skills. There are programs that has been assigned, and also there will be industry experts who will be taking one-on-one sessions with you. Mostly these sessions will be one-on-one, so that your individual journey is enhanced. So it not only enhances your career as such, but personally also we all saw a lot of benefits from the program. And last but not the least, you will be having multiple industry leaders coming in as guest sessions from various industries. So you will get to have an idea about each industry, what is currently happening in the outside world, what are the current trends, what is expected from us as a student once we pass out of this college, and what each industries is moving ahead with. So all this will prepare us for a seamless journey into the real world after the program. And it need not be whether you're from an engineering background or a non-engineering background. I am myself from a non-engineering, non-supply chain, non-IT background, but I can assure you that learning was no less than the others. That was because the program is designed in such a holistic manner. And as I told, all the professors and the placement committee will be there to help you at each and every step, little step of yours. So it was, of course, a transformational journey, and we have few more months to go. And I'm definitely going to learn more by the time I pass out of this college. I'm again happy for the opportunity that has been given to me, and I now move on.
Jeyashree, you can possibly refer briefly to the clubs also that are, available.
Yes, yes. So here we have multiple clubs and committees. We have placement committee, we have placement preparation committee, we have alumni committee, we have sports committee. So there are almost 24 committees which will be there. And it is a student run organization. So in all these committees, the students will be the one who will be actively participating and managing. Of course, the administration team will be there to be there and guide us, but it would be again a fun aspect. And also you will feel like you're already taking some kind of responsibility and putting some kind of actions, because everything will be planned by the students and everything will be executed by the students. So there are almost like 22 committees to work on. So again, that gives you a very fun experience, which gives you a little break from the regular curriculum, I would say. So now I would again call Professor Chandrasekhar to proceed with the presentation.
Yeah. Thank you. So this is the placement record. Placement is normally 100%. When we reach that 100% varies from year to year. Some years we do it much earlier. Some years we do it a bit later. Again, it depends on a lot of other things like the companies. The students are sometimes very particular about a particular company or role. They tend to wait. Excuse me. Industry, the economic climate also is a variable we have to work with. So these things, because of this, the time by which we achieve the 100% may vary across batches, but 100% has been achieved in all the batches till date. And of course, these companies you already had a look at in one of the previous slides. Last year, the earning potential was 22.37 lakhs per annum. But I would encourage all of you to go to our website where you'll get an audited statement of what companies have taken, what salaries have been paid. So we are one of the few institutes which audits our placement details. And whatever you find on the website is the authentic information. So I would encourage all of you to go and have a look at that also. Next, Jeyashree. Yeah, now we've all said it, so many times, but I would say it once more. The live project component is possibly one of the most important aspects of this program, right? This, over a 4-month period, you will work on live supply chain projects with our industry partners. As the course goes on concurrently, you will be located in Udaipur. A lot of the work will happen online with your faculty mentor as well as the industry mentor. But some projects, the company has told us that it would be better if the students can come for a short trip. We do enable that, right? Like suppose there's a project on warehouse optimization. People need to have a look at a warehouse to understand how a warehouse functions. Like we said, all the students do not come with prior supply chain background. So such visits can be provided, but a bulk of the work will be done online. But it is a very, very huge learning component there is in this live project. We're able to translate theory into practice. So this is a very exciting part. And we have been, as our strength has gone, up to 65, the number of projects we need are much higher now, but we've got a lot of support from industry. And the number of organizations who are interested in using the thoughts and expertise of our students is increasing day by day. So these are some of the companies which have offered us a project. Again, you'll find that it is across, functions. There are typical operations. There is an IT application developer, O9 solutions. There are technology, artificial AI-based projects which students are doing this year. Typical consulting projects. So it's a variety which will be afforded to the students of the program. Yeah. Next session. So now I take you back to Professor Rajesh, who will be able to, explain further as to why you should be looking at this program.
Great.
Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So finally, this is the last slide to talk about. So we believe that IIM Udaipur's offering in the supply chain management is a unique one. What makes it unique? Because it's a blend of general management as well as the context is supply chain management. So if management as the field of education excites you, and if you believe supply chain has the future, then perhaps this could be one of the best programs that you could be considering in the country to join. This program gives you an MBA degree. You are aware now, all IIMs grant MBA degree after they come under the Act of Parliament. So once you finish this program, you shall get an MBA degree. This program is heavily industry oriented. What do I mean by industry oriented? As I said before, both in its design and delivery and relevance, it is very heavily industry oriented and is able to bring the real life to the classroom, right? And that makes it unique. And right in the beginning of my presentation, I talked to you about how IIM Udaipur, in a span of just over 10 years, has been able to establish as one of the best management schools in the country in terms of its ranking, global ranking, and global accreditation. So, as I said, if you think, as I said, management career excites you, supply chain excites you, then if I were in your place, I would go ahead and apply in this program, right? So next slide, please. We shall be answering any question that you pose here, but in case a question that comes to your mind, even after this webinar is over, please do write to us or talk to us. The numbers and the email IDs are flashing on your screen. I would urge you to take a screenshot if you wish, so that you can reach out to us at any point in time later during the week or after. So, right. So now I would be inviting Jeyashree to host the Q&A session. So where whatever questions that you have asked, she'll read out to us, and then the concerned panelist would be happy to answer your questions. So over to you, Jeyashree.
Yeah. Thank you once again, sir. So please take a screenshot of this slide because I'll be closing this slide in another 5 to 10 seconds. And meanwhile, please post your queries as told in the beginning. Please post it in the Q&A section and not in the chat so that it will be easy for me to go one by one. Shall I close the slide, sir?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So the first question we have from Shivam Gupta. Ma'am, I have scored 44 percentile in CAT, but have 4 years experience in supply chain domain like Flipkart, Zomato of business at a managerial position. Will I be able to get admission? So his background is BSc Agriculture for a 4-year degree.
Okay, let me answer that. So, these things can be answered over a Zoom call. That's the reason there is an admission process that I would urge you after going through the webinar, if you think you find it worthwhile and exciting, the only way you can get an answer is by applying, right? So that's the only suggestion I can have.
Okay. So next is from anonymous attendee. From the upcoming year, reservations have been introduced. Have the number of seats also increased with it?
No, the number of seats are approximately 65. We plan to have approximately 65 students in a batch. So that doesn't change.
Okay. And the next is again from an anonymous attendee. Are the number of seats to be filled in cycle 3 same as cycle 4?
So you know what? We do not have a number of seats to be filled in a cycle. That's not the way we approach. We look at, who is the right candidate for the program, who will, by joining the program, will benefit from the program. And there has to be a right alignment between the student aspiration and what the program offers, right? So whenever we find the right candidate, we offer an admission. So we don't go by the number of seats to be filled per cycle. And so So what does it mean for you? So it's very simple. If you are a candidate, the first thing you need to decide is whether MBA excites you, whether supply chain excites you. If both of these things excite you, and if you have a valid score, then the best thing is to go ahead and apply. And if it does not, then the answer is clear. There's no point waiting and not applying. So it's simple. So if it excites you, go ahead and apply. If it does not, then leave it. That's the best way to approach, rather than worrying about the dynamic of this cycle versus that cycle. In any case, cycle 3 and 4 both fall in this month. It's just a matter of few days, this side or that side.
Okay. The next anonymous attendee has two questions. The first question is, if I apply to MBA supply chain management in this phase and don't get shortlisted, can I apply to MBA digital enterprises management in the next phase? The second question is, can I apply to supply chain management a second time in the next phase if I don't get shortlisted in this phase by taking a new GMAT?
Right. So let me answer that. So the fact that you don't get shortlisted, that means somewhere you're not meeting the all the requirements that we have. So even if you apply in another program, very likely you will not get shortlisted there as well, right? But if you don't get shortlisted and you reappear and rewrite your GMAT or any other exam and improve your score, then certainly you are very welcome to apply all over again in any field, I mean, digital or supply chain management. Incidentally, a candidate can also apply. Suppose you're applying in supply chain and the next cycle, you got interviewed but didn't get selected. You can always apply in digital enterprise management, it's a different program.
The next is from Aditya Rai. On the last slide, on campus has an asterisk marked. Can you please elaborate on what does the asterisk symbolize?
All right, so let me explain. So we're all familiar with the pandemic, right? And the asterisk would have intended to say that, God forbid if there is a challenge of that kind, I hope it doesn't happen, then the whole world goes into an online mode. That's the whole intent of the asterisk there. Otherwise, it's going to be an on-campus program. So I think for the year 2020 and 21, it was online. The whole world was online, and subsequently everything is on campus.
Next, we have from Hariharan M. Thanks for the presentation, team. Almost clear all the doubts. Sir, I have 3.5 years of experience in core mechanical, from where I got fascinated by supply chain management. Will I benefit if I apply in this year or with more than 4.5 years work experience?
Chandra will take that. You are on mute.
Yeah. There are many candidates with a mechanical engineering background who have worked in automobile companies or other companies who have joined the program. I think 3.5 years is pretty good. I don't see why waiting for one more year will benefit you in any way. So I think it's good enough. You can go ahead and apply now. But suffice to say that people with background in mechanical engineering have done very well in this program and have resulted in good careers for themselves. Yeah.
So the next is again from Aditya Rai. How does a career in supply chain look like? Can you please throw some light around the career growth in this sector? I do not have a supply chain experience till now. Have 3.5 years of management consulting experience at ZS Associates and 6 months in operation role in Blinkit.
Okay, the sector itself is looking very good, especially post-COVID, when people are looking at India as a supply chain hub. There is huge potential for people who want to work in this space, right? And like I said, that is being reflected in the variety of roles which are available to the students of this program. But in terms of career growth, there are a lot of variables here. The type of organization you join, your performance, there are so many things where you can't generalize and say that you will grow this much in the next couple of years and that much after the next 5 years. No, there are too many variables there, starting from the individual himself or herself to the company they've joined. So, but the field in general is very, very fertile. It's a good time to be in the supply chain space.
And if I may add that, sometimes to a layperson who has no familiarity with the domain, the moment you say supply chain, it creates or conjures an image of a factory or a warehouse, which is fine. But if I may say, more than 50% of our graduates go into management consulting or strategy consulting.
Hmm.
So while they may visit factories and warehouses, they don't have to be there. But sometimes, many of us conjure an image or create an image that that's what it means. So you are working in that context, but you don't have to be working physically in those spaces. And there are very many dynamic opportunities, as was presented in the PowerPoint, very many roles which are very, very interesting and dynamic.
Okay. So next is from Srinesh Pai. Are GRE candidates given preferences over those who give CAT?
No, there is no such preference for any kind of candidate over the other. So it doesn't matter whether you write GMAT or GRE or CAT, and then, it just doesn't matter. Whichever score you have is good enough to apply.
The next is from Mihir Raval. I have 32 months of experience in supply chain. Am I eligible for this course?
Mihir, unfortunately, you are not eligible. You have to have 36 months of experience, but there is a deadline. Sunanda, do you recall as to by what date he has to have 36 months of experience?
Yeah, it's 28th Feb 2025.
Yes, so by 28th of February 2025, if you finish on that date 36 months, then you are eligible to apply. But looks like you have 32 months, so you would not make it 36 by February end. So you'll have to wait for a year more, Mihir, before you can think of applying.
Okay.
Next,
next
Arvind
is-
is falling short by 5 days.
Yeah, the next is from Aravind. Ma'am, I've completed my BTech Mechanical Engineering in 2022 batch. I worked as a senior supply chain management engineer in a Japanese automotive OEM. I will have around 3 years of experience by March 1st week. I'm short of experience by 5 days. My GRE scores is 323 marks. UG is 84 percentile. Am I eligible?
Unfortunately, no, because deadline is once you make concession, it's a slippery slope, so there's no end to it. If it's 5 days, why not 6 days? Then why not 7 days, right? So I hope you appreciate, Arvind. So you will have to wait, and you're not yet 3 years. So I must tell you, the average experience of the batch is 5 years, right? So while the minimum is 3 years, there are many candidates with 5, 7, 8, even 9 years of experience. So you will do quite well to, spend a year more and then come to the institute and apply again.
Mr. Lalit Reddy is asking, I have missed the initial discussion. Will we be sharing the PPT?
No, so I suggest this, Lalit, that, once this is over, we shall post this in the YouTube, the video of this, and you can, we're very happy to watch it there, right? So I said, I say, wait for a while and this will be uploaded on the YouTube. You can Google it and then find it.
And the next question is from an anonymous attendee. Does a career gap weaken chances of getting shortlisted?
The answer is both yes and no. In the sense that during the interview process, if you explain what really happened, then it's fine. And because see, it's not so much the admission issue, it's the placement issue. So if you have a big career gap without any explanation, even if we admit you, then at the time of your placement, that shouldn't become a challenge. And from that perspective, the interview committee may want to understand more as to how, what was the rationale for your career gap, what really happened, etc. So it all depends as to what was the reason for the career gap. And if you can explain that well to the interview committee, then hopefully it's okay.
The next is again from an anonymous attendee. From a placement perspective, what are the chances of 3.5 years of work ex people compared to higher experienced people, as they would have edge in placements, or they would have edge in placements?
So I would like to say this, that, different companies have different priorities, right? So some companies might want to say, okay, those who are 3 years of experience, I'm happy to have them. Somebody might say, I'm looking at only 5 to 7 year bracket. So different companies have different requirements. The fact that we are running this program for several years with a minimum 3 years experience, and for the last 12 batches, we have placed everybody, which means everybody gets placed at the end of the day, right? Whether they have 3 or 4 or 5 or 8 years of experience. So as I said, different companies look for different kinds of roles and different kinds of numbers of years of experiences. So it is not appropriate to say that those with 3 will have a lower chance and those with 5 will have a higher chance. It doesn't work like that. It depends on the requirements of the company, and it varies from company to company.
So next is from Shrinesh Pai. Does the pre-MBA background play a part in the placements?
So if you're referring to the summer MBA program summer program in management that IIM Udaipur offers, there's no direct advantage, but the fact that you have attended a program like that, and to that extent, if you are able to answer questions in the field of management better, and it signals that you are keen about management, so it has that advantage, and that advantage will be there for you not only at IIM Udaipur, across management institution, because it signals that you are a serious candidate in the field of management. But there's no direct quota or direct advantage or direct marks that you will get because you attended such a program.
Is he talking about his work ex prior to the MBA program or?
Pre-MBA background, I'm not too sure. I think, we run a program called Summer Program in Management. So that's what he's referring to. Otherwise, pre-MBA program, even your undergrad qualification or whatever. So it's a whole suite, right? When you apply and your panel is looking at your profile and candidature, they look at everything, right? So certainly who you are as a person, what you have studied, where you have worked, everything is a part of that composite application, right?
So next we again have a person asking, can we email the meeting recording to our email?
Sunanda, I don't think we email the recording, but we post it on the YouTube.
Yeah, and if they want, we can send the recordings.
You can? Okay, then you
Yes.
please drop a mail to the admissions office. Those of you who are interested in the recording, please drop a mail, and then as admissions office person Sunanda has mentioned, we shall be happy to mail it to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So next is again from an anonymous attendee. Is there any cutoff or everybody who applies irrespective of the score will get a chance for the interview?
No, there's certainly a cutoff. And then that, as I said, is a combination of various things that we look at. So not everybody who applies gets a call. There is a shortlisting process. People who are shortlisted will get an interview call.
Okay. And next is again from an anonymous attendee. As many of the companies mentioned that come for placements are offering consultant roles, is the IT background people get edge than core people?
The brief answer to that is no. Everybody has an equal chance of getting placed in whatever type of role they are desirous of working in. There may be specific IT companies who would prefer somebody with an IT background, but those are specific requirements. Otherwise, in general requirements, I don't think there is any bias for an IT professional as against any other field you may have done your UG in. No.
The next is from Pankajkar. Hello, sir. I'm working as a cloud architect in an MNC. Will this program will help me in my career, or should I go with IIM Mumbai supply chain program?
I don't know if you are looking at a supply chain program, then like Professor Rajesh was mentioning, ours is one of a kind program. So I don't see what greater benefit you will derive from applying to the IIM Mumbai supply chain program. But then whether it will help you in your career, first of all, you need to answer the question with your background. What is your interest in supply chain? Are you keen on pursuing a career in supply chain? And if the answer to that is yes, then yes, ours should be the program you should be looking at, because it's a core supply chain program.
Yeah. So again, the next question we have from an anonymous attendee. Hello, sir. I'm working in category management role in one of the retail organization. I have a total experience of 12 years. Do you suggest this program to me?
You want to take that, Rajesh?
Yeah. So you know what, there are two aspects to doing any program. One is the learning aspect. The other aspect is getting a placement. Eventually, all the candidates who apply in a program would want also to get a placement from the institute. What we have realized over the years that something like 3 to 8 or 9 years of experience, it is relatively easy for us to find a suitable placement for the candidates. The moment the candidate hit a 10-year number of years of experience, 10-year mark, while they have rich experience, somehow those companies who are looking for 10 years of experience do not come to our campus. So in that sense, placing them is going to be extremely, extremely hard. So I would not encourage you to apply if you're looking for a placement because you have 12 years of experience. The best way is to do a lateral job search or whatever. Having said that, if your intent is purely to learn and you are not looking at a placement, then in our application process, there is an opportunity to select and say, you are not looking for a placement, you're only interested in doing the program, in which case, your candidature will be looked at differently. And then very clearly, you will not be a part of the placement process. So you have to make a decision. If you're looking for a placement, this is not the right program for you. If you're not looking for a placement and only looking to study here, then certainly there is no age which is a barrier to learn anything at any point in time. So then you can perhaps consider applying for this program.
What is the selection weightage percentage-wise, like score, work experience, graduation marks? It's not been mentioned in the website.
Okay, so let me again answer this. I had answered this a while ago. I know it's our inquisitiveness has no limit in terms of, what are the nuances of this process. But as I said, that, if you have a valid score and management and supply chain excite you, it's not more than a 20-minute exercise to make an application and you get an answer rather than to overly become anxious about what is the weightage and what is the process of various components and things like that. So if I were you, I wouldn't worry about many of these things and go ahead and apply. And very quickly you will get to know 12th is the cutoff date for cycle 3, which is almost a week from now. You apply and you get to know in the next couple of days whether you get shortlisted, you appear in the interview, and then the story is over, right? That's what my suggestion would be. Okay, looks like we've come to an end. We don't see any more questions. So, so I'd like to thank all the panelists for, being with the participants this evening, and thanks a lot to the attendees. And I hope it helped clarify some of the questions and doubts that you had about the program and the prospect. But the most important is it is your career and your aspiration. So this program has to make sense for you given your career goals. And as I said, 2 questions. If management education excites you and supply chain as a domain excites you, if you think supply chain has a future in your judgment, then perhaps you cannot get a better program than this within the country because we have very strong credentials. So I hope you take a decision which is in your best interest and you take the right decision. Wish you all the best, and thanks to all my panelists and specifically to Jeyashree for very ably hosting this webinar today. Thank you and have a good evening. Bye for now.
Thank you all. Thank you. Best wishes. Bye.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you, everyone.
Thank you.